Hello and welcome back for another installment of our conversations leading up to the launch of the highly anticipated Faith Inspired Leadership and Property Management course by the Community Growth Foundation in partnership with Grand Canyon University. I'm your host for this series, Melissa D. White. And what a joy it is to do not only a good work and a work for an industry that I love, but to do it with amazing people that I admire, just some of my heroes in the industry. And it has been an incredible process. 18 months of us meeting behind the scenes on this mighty task force of subject matter experts, leaders, not just in real estate multifamily, but leaders in faith. One of the things that have bonded us together were having the real conversations, sharing our testimonies and our stories. And one of those people I feel especially personally endeared to is Miss Suzanne Pratt. And what an honor it is to have this conversation with you today, Miss Pratt. Let me tell the audience, in case they don't know, they should know who you are, but
Okay.
I want to properly introduce you and your contribution to our industry. So, Ms. Suzanne Pratt, she's the Director of Professional Development for the Triangle Apartment Association, NAAEI faculty for 2025 and 26, NAAEI Board of Directors, our CKREM, which is our Certified Kingdom Real Estate Management Task Force group member. And I want to just talk a little bit more about just how dynamic she is. She has a background in education, nonprofit management, leadership development, has recently added coach to the feather in her cap. She's an inaugural leadership and a valuable insight. And one thing that I can say personally, after spending some time with you, I've always admired you from afar. I've had the opportunity over the last year and a half to see you more intimately up close. And you literally carry a crown of wisdom. There were times in this process where we may be at a crossroads about a decision, and you always brought biblical insight. You stayed with the word and said, hey, well, let's look at the scriptural aspect of this. And that's one of the differentiators about this program, that it is industry education from a Christ-centered perspective. Suzanne Pratt, welcome to our conversation for the Faith Inspired Leadership Series.
Thank you, Melissa. Our relationship has really grown
Hmm.
um, during this group that we decided that brought us together with this
Yeah,
program. And I'm honored and humble um,
same.
and so excited to meet with you this afternoon and talk about our experience and talk about this program.
Yes, yes, yes. Let's get into this conversation. I've really been looking forward to this because of your perspective. So I want to set the stage so they really understand. You are one of the task force members who, not a supplier, owner, operator, but as an
Mhm.
affiliate partner, you
Mhm.
hold a very different lens, and you're talking about decades of experience in our industry, seeing the relationship evolve and grow from the affiliate level. And so you had very different perspective. One, years of wisdom and experience.
Mhm.
Two, and learning that you also have the educational factor. You too have been an instructor
Mhm.
in institutions, higher education. So you brought such a fresh approach to what we did. I would love to know, why say yes to something like this? I mean, you've done some tremendous work, and you're at a time where you can truly pick up whatever projects you want. Why did you say yes to this when you got the call?
Couple of reasons. Um, Being asked to join this task force, especially from a dear friend who's a dear friend of both of us, Stephanie
Hmm.
Prier Healing, meant so much to me. I believe that God places us in certain places for a reason. And this invitation felt confirmation of that. It felt right and clear. I was honored and also humble um, that my skills, and I had an opportunity, but also with my skills, that God was shaping something different for the multifamily housing industry. And I think it's something that's been needed. And I think it's been there. I just think it hasn't been brought to the forefront. And I think with this partnership with Grand Canyon University and Community Growth Foundation, being a part of this, to be able to pull that together and to shape the multifamily housing industry, this just was another committee or another project. It was
Yeah.
purpose. It was a purpose-driven assignment.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to create a space where leaders could grow not only in knowledge, but in character, purpose, faith, and a place where people would seem or feel supported and strengthened. A space where God's influence can quietly transform and lead and serve, and they follow for them to show up.
So good. I love that. Just creating a space. And it is a very unique, specific, strategic space for those that want to do business differently. I love that. But before we started our conversation, we were talking offline about just a space where our faith can be shared, and just the timing. It's the timing of this that's so impactful. I want to dig a little bit deeper. I've read your resume about the incredible things you've done, but I got to know we got to know a little bit more about each other through our testimonies, through our own ethos of how we live, discipleship, even scripture that guides each of us in our work. What role does your faith specifically play in your personal and your professional development? How is that incorporated for you as a leader?
Well, one of the things I live by is the Ten Commandments for moral boundaries.
Yeah.
And the golden rule, treating others as wish I would like to be treated. That's kind of my moral compass. My faith foundation is in everything that I do. It shapes my character, my decisions, and the way I show up for others. I believe God places me in every season, in every room with intention. And it took me a while to realize that, Melissa, as I've grown into my spiritual journey. I would say a little younger in life, I didn't realize some of those things, but hopefully as you get older, you get wiser and realize that God has a purpose for all of us. And part of my journey throughout my career has led me up to my purpose, and I didn't even realize it. So I approach my work with a sense of calling rather than obligation. And I've had to question myself in times, even in my role here. I'm like, God, am I in the right place? You've kept me here for 25 years. Am I in the right
You
place?
too.
Yeah, you've been here for 25 years, and
Yeah.
opportunities and relationships I've had to connect. And so faith keeps me grounded, humble, and aligned with a purpose that's bigger than myself. It reminds me that leadership is not about position. It's about service, stewardship, honoring the gifts that God has entrusted me with.
So good. I want to recap what you said: service over obligation. And I thought I was the only one that asked God, like, why you still got me here? To hear you say that, I was like, oh, it's not just me. And I said, it has to be for a reason. And there are many who are watching this who may or may, whatever job you're in, if you're in the industry or not, if you're watching this, your occupation is not an accident.
No, it's not.
It's really not. I had a really great conversation with our friend Stephanie Peria Helling, and we were talking about your career as a calling. And of course, when we make those choices, we may or may not be considering that. Like we both work with college students at different levels, and it's like, well, I want a job that pays good, or I want to be able to, put my degree to use, or I want to
Mm-hmm.
make my family,
Mm-hmm.
whatever your motives and your reasons are. I know I
Yeah.
surely wasn't thinking about that when I
No.
picked multifamily 20 plus years ago. And I literally have had that moment. That was so refreshing to hear you say, like, why am I still here? And I ask God that question often. But you know what though? We were also talking about the timing. And I believe this
Mhm.
timing is answering that question for both of us. Do you agree?
Mhm.
Like, I
I
needed you
agree.
here for a time such as this.
I agree. I agree. Every step and every connection
Hmm.
I realized in life was part of this journey. But I
Hmm.
wouldn't have known that without my connection with God to help
Mm,
lead me and be obedient to listen to that. Because we all feel that, well, God, we're determined that we want to sometimes do things our way.
mm-hmm,
And we sometimes think God's timing isn't what we think it should be going at a faster pace.
mm-hmm,
And so I've learned to be still
mm-hmm,
and ask
mm,
God for clarity, which I do all the time,
mm-hmm,
asking for clarity, even when I took on this, because I told Stephanie when I first, I'm like, oh my God, this is such a great opportunity. But Stephanie, first of all, let me pray about it because I want to make sure I'm committed and my
yeah,
commitment is there because I will
yeah,
not commit anything. I will not commit to something that I haven't conversed with God with and make sure my commitment, I'm going to be committed to this. And I did
mm-hmm,
because we started this journey when I was on vacation in December and it didn't matter. I was on vacation. I was committed
mm,
to this. It was,
mm,
it was intentional and I didn't take
yeah,
this opportunity lightly.
mm. I agree. It was much bigger than a committee. It felt like a clarion call, like rounding up leaders for, like, just for impact. Like, it felt as if we were preparing for something like big, but I
Mhm.
don't think we even knew what
Yeah.
this would evolve to. And even now that the program is tangible, we have curriculum in our hands.
Mhm.
It has a full life of its own. Now it's
Yes.
like, oh my gosh. I personally, and tell me what you think about this. I'm at a chapter in my career and in my life where, like, another different of ours, Dr. Debbie Phillips says, she talks about legacy building and planting
Mhm.
seeds and things like that. And I said, well, God, if you got me here this long, let me see fruit
Mhm.
from this time. Like 20 plus years somewhere, let
Wow.
there be evidence and fruit from the work we've done. And I believe there comes a time, especially looking at the tenure and the impact that all of the task force members have. I look at our collective years in the industry and I said, my God, we have spent multiple lifetimes serving this industry. And at least for me, it shifted at some point from, getting a job to chasing promotion to climbing that ladder.
Mhm.
And then you get to that apex or whatever that is, and you're like, now what? And that's when God said, okay, you had enough. I'm ready to
Mhm.
use you for bigger purpose now. I'm ready
Yep.
to use you for why I put you here in the first place. And
Mhm.
so now I think I'm going to ask everybody that question in this series. Like, when I say that this course is legacy building,
Mhm.
what does that mean to you personally? Because you do already have an indelible stamp, but this course, how is this a part of that legacy building for the industry?
I would say this, Melissa. Being in this role has given me so many opportunities to connect with
Hmm.
individuals and be a part of their journey.
Yeah.
And when you talk about um, why are you here? I used to tell my colleague Josie Eatman, who's executive director here, I said, even when we would have conversations at times, I'm like, you know what? This is really bigger than you and I. And sometimes we just have to move past what we're feeling.
Mm,
And she's a very, I'm very humble and I'm so appreciative that I have an organization where we're able to talk about and pray about things. She is a spiritual leader.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of my colleagues where we just, okay, we got to pray about this.
Mm-hmm.
This needs some prayer in order for us to move forward. But when you talk about legacy, I'm I am humbled by a lot of the individuals as I go back and being part of their journey in their lives and helping them to find purpose and why they're here, why they stay in this career, and also
Mm-hmm.
that connection with my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And I've had members in my past say to me, well, I want that connection. Well, it's easy. God's here. He's right there. It's just building a relationship and having a conversation with him. And to
Mm-hmm.
know that the journey he has sent me on
Mm-hmm.
as a purpose, guide, and coach, career coach, and it's led me to this particular
Yes.
opportunity. God has just opened up doors to help with that legacy that I had no idea that were even coming. But God has
Mm-hmm.
a tendency to do that. When you ask him for something, he will connect you with those to help you, guide you to that
Mm-hmm.
purpose that he has for you.
He
So this
will.
is gonna be
He will.
a great part of that legacy that I didn't know even existed, that he's given to me. What a great gift and a blessing.
Right. Said that we didn't even know. We had
We
no
didn't
idea that this was a part of the journey at all. No
know.
idea.
Yeah, no idea.
Yeah. It's funny. You talk about what you don't know. It's like, for me, it's like a new awakening or revival. That's the right word. It's a
Mhm,
this course to me is a revival. Let me explain what I mean by that. Um, I often say, many of us, as a matter of fact, probably all of us on the task force, we stand at the intersection
mhm,
between business,
mhm,
community, and kingdom. And
mhm,
we live in that intersection oftentimes in silos, and we
mhm.
might think we're the only one who's
Yes.
navigating that, the duality or the trifecta of that, of how do I lead teams, steward
Mm,
assets, but
mhm,
honor Christ at the same time,
mhm,
while establishing his kingdom on earth. That there's a multiplicity of things we think about beyond just the work we do, the rigor of the work. It's the, how am I being honorable,
mhm,
how am I discipling. And
mhm.
so I'm so amazed that now, instead of individually having these conversations behind closed doors and
Mhm,
silos, we cannot, like, even you and I, we've had these conversations, but
mhm,
now we get to talk about it live, boldly, with acceptance,
mhm,
on LinkedIn and conferences. There are intentional spaces curated around Christ centered leadership, kingdom building, stewardship in business. I never thought as a believer that I would see this. I had no idea that a world like this existed, like with Community Growth Foundation and Grand
yes.
Canyon University. I felt like I kind of felt like an outsider. Like, I really
Mhm.
want to talk about Jesus, but I feel like I'm gonna offend somebody. But now I get to talk about Jesus and business and my industry, and we're all good. And it's refreshing. It's refreshing, isn't it?
It's very refreshing because why not talk about something that that's been part of your journey? And for me, it's like I don't know how to hold back. And so God has put me in a lot of spaces where I'm just going to give my testimony because this is what God has done for me and what he can do for you because we all have a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Mm-hmm.
tapping into that purpose and to him. He's there
Mm-hmm.
every day with us.
That's so good. You said that like he's already there in the room anyway. Why not just go ahead and talk about him?
Why not
So
talk?
why not go ahead and talk about him? So think back over the last 18 months and
Okay.
share with us, share with our community, what were some of the most impactful moments of putting this together? You lended your thought leadership. I watched your course, your interview about ethics, which was powerful, by the way. Oh my gosh, your example about how to navigate ethics from a biblical lens. Just
Mhm.
give us some of the highlights of the content in the curriculum and how that impacted you so the audience can know a little bit more from your perspective as a contributor.
I think, incorporating um, faith, Christian values into industry education is important. And I think also with leadership development,
Hmm.
incorporating biblical principles such as integrity, humility, compassion, and stewardship into our everyday action and choices can profoundly influence our lives, and
Hmm.
especially those around us. Faith doesn't exclude anyone.
No.
It does not exclude anyone. It raises the standards of how we treat one another.
Mm.
It creates workplaces where people feel and seen, valued,
Hmm.
supported, and I think it also strengthens the moral fabric of our industry, and it can do that.
Hmm.
When Christian values like love, humanity, and stewardship, and forgiveness and servant leadership guide our growth, I think leaders become more grounded in purpose, um, more compassionate in conflict, and more ethical in decision making. I think it gives them more, they become more courageous in change,
Hmm.
um, and more committed to people um, outcomes.
Mm. I love how you talk about those different tenets. And what I hear you saying is really the fruit of the spirit, like how to be kind and
That's it.
compassionate and like you said, strengthening that moral compass is like I said before in our previous interview, it's realizing that I'm not just answering to my leadership or to my boss, like I
Mhm.
answer to a higher power and understanding that. And then I want to touch on just a little bit for a moment the inclusive side of it. We also talked about that as a task force too, that yes, it is Christ centered, it's Bible based, but it's not excluding anyone.
No,
Like
it's
if
not.
you have a desire to learn and a curiosity about the theology, the wisdom and revelation in the Bible, just how it's how we use it as a book, as a tool, as a faith to apply to how we do business. So, what would you say would be your desire or your hope for the students? We have 25 students who are going to be in our inaugural pilot
I'm so
cohort. Was
excited
so
about this. Oh
me
my
too.
God. Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
they're
I'm so
registering.
excited. Yeah. I'm
and,
excited.
and
You're going
this
to be
is
teaching some of that, Melissa. I am.
I know. This is we it's one thing when we were like dreaming about it and we're working on it, but to see the registrations come through, to read their essays, it's incredible. What would be maybe some of your wisdom or insight you would want to share with them as they go through this program?
I think that sharing faith is not preaching. It's about living in a way that reflects God's love.
Mm,
And I've learned that people are drawn to authenticity, kindness, integrity long before drawn to words. I know that when you show up and I see you, I'm going to see you before whatever comes out of your mouth. And
mhm,
I share my faith by leading with humility. And I want to share with the students that it's important to lead with humility. Um,
mhm,
Listening deeply, I think that's very important.
mhm,
As they grow, showing compassion, very important.
mhm.
Learning how to forgive is so important.
Yeah.
Forgiveness is so important.
Mm,
Um, that was one of my spiritual journeys years ago. And when God gave me that, when I
mhm,
learned how to do that, it was like an out of body experience. I had
mhm,
never experienced anything like that in my life. It was so overwhelming that I just sit there and cried. But what a peace that God gave me that I have never felt before. I'm getting teary eyed now. Oh my goodness.
Mm,
Also serving with expecting, without expecting anything in return, creating
mhm.
space where people feel safe and valued. We talked about that. But when people experience God's love through actions, they naturally become curious about the source of peace and joy and strength.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. It becomes an invitation, if you will, just
Hmm.
by proxy of the way that, like you said, you serve with humility. They want to know, like, why are you so calm under pressure?
Uh huh.
Why are
Uh
you
huh.
so nice to me?
Yeah.
How did you handle it like that? And now that's an invitation to that. And I love that you said that. Just start with how you show up. And I've had to
Mhm.
learn that too, right? That Lord, character. Let me
It
check my
does.
character and
Uh-huh.
how I show up. And am I representing you well so that
Hmm.
people will know, like, hey, something's different
Yeah.
about her. And that it doesn't conflict with my faith. That's so important. So I want to shift a bit and talk about our industry specifically. As an
Hmm.
affiliate partner, you sit in a unique position where you hear all
Hmm.
sides of the conversation. You
Yeah.
serve owner operators, suppliers, you educate them. Why is it important? Speak to other affiliate partners about why it is important to support this course and initiatives like this that are value and faith centric to our population and to our membership.
I'll answer this in a couple of ways.
Okay.
As an affiliate, most of our education focuses on skills, compliance,
Mm,
operations, and best practices. Those things matter, but they don't speak to the heart of leadership.
mm,
Um, this course is different just because of who you are before it even teaches what you do, what you need to do. So when you
mhm.
go back talking about character, that's very important. Is there before we teach you what to do. When compared to this program invites individuals to explore their purpose, their values, identity through faith-based lens. That's the difference to
Mm,
me. It strengthens character, not just competency. It also develops you to lead with integrity, compassion, courage, conviction, qualities that come from spiritual information, not technical training.
mm. Whew.
It's not just professional development, it's soul development.
Mm. Woo. That's
Part,
powerful.
that part.
That's so powerful.
That,
Whew, you have such a way of describing this. Listen, if you haven't registered by now, I think this is a perfect time after that statement to run, click, and grab the link that's right below. I'll drop it in the chat as well on all of our platforms. If you are following us, if you're connected, if you are a student, an established person in your career, doesn't matter. This is an opportunity to connect your values and your
mm,
faith with how you work through a totally different lens. I'm
it
telling
is.
you, I'm so humbled. Like when we got a chance to look through the curriculum, I just want to pinpoint and talk about some of the things that really stand out about this curriculum. It is immersive. It is immersive in scripture. Our team and our curriculum developers did a phenomenal job.
Yes.
Phenomenal job. Teresa DeVos, Donna Summers, Cynthia Ann King, of course, Stephanie Purier
Mhm.
Helling, you, Jakora Connor, like you, phenomenal job pulling out core leadership principles and drawing the correlation to biblical revelation, to sound doctrine. Okay.
Mhm.
And what I love about the course, Suzanne, and I can't wait for you to get a peek behind the scenes online in the course,
Mhm.
is it's highly engaged in different modalities. It's asynchronous. So even though the students can do it at their own pace, it's encouraging or fostering connection and relationship, talking through case studies in our
Mhm,
industry, right? About hey, how would you handle an ethical
mhm,
situation? How do you handle your team or conflict resolution, right? Those are all very real things that we live on site, at work, partnerships, conversations. It's hard. I think
mhm.
harder than any other industry. I've always said, like, hey, to get this far, 20 plus years of multifamily, I had a pastor, a therapist, and Jesus. So it took it took all of it.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
so yeah, the course gives you that. As we wrap up the conversation, what are, I guess, just any final thoughts or encouragement for, let's talk to the owner operator who's hearing this and they're like, okay, I hear it, but what, how's this different? Like, you're part of the NAAEI
Yeah.
committee, you're faculty, you've taught, like,
Mhm.
our designation is top tier. We have some of the best education in our industry. Why would someone consider this in addition to all the other educational options that are out there? And I'm a little biased as a part of the Grand Canyon University team. I'm like, hey,
Mhm.
it's a
It's
university certification, but what are some other reasons when you look at the curriculum and the reason behind it? Why would an owner operator support say, yes, I'm going to sponsor and send my people and send my team to this program?
I think, first of all, Grand Canyon University faith-based leadership property management program, certificate course
Mm.
developed by Community Growth Foundation partnership is we know it's the first credential certificate program of its kind,
Yes.
and being a part of that is so special, and I'm so humble in so many ways. Um, I would say to owner operator, it develops leaders who are not only skilled, kind of what I talked about before, but it
Hmm.
also transforms them. Individuals are grounded in purpose to make better decisions, build healthier teams, and I think create stronger communities because
Hmm.
it's faith inspired leadership that cultivates. This program cultivates. I think you will get a team and individuals who are higher emotionally intelligent,
Hmm.
stronger ethical standards, which is so important in this industry,
Yes.
a healthier workplace for culture, and a
Hmm.
greater resilience. I also think you'll get a deeper commitment to service, that
Mm.
commitment will come to, I'm here to not only provide a person for a home, but I'm here to service them as well. And I
That's
think
good.
really supporting this particular program is an investment in people and their growth, their
Mhm.
character, um, and I think for their long-term impact. When leaders
Mhm.
thrive spiritually and emotionally, organizations will thrive as well.
Mhm. Mm. So good. So good. Suzanne Pratt, I'm honored. Thank you so much. You have dropped some gems. I have to go back and watch this and take notes. You have the most poignant way of framing just your incredible thoughts. Thank you for spending some time with me. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for your service to this task force and to our industry. Guys, if you are watching this now, here's the call to action. If you have been locked in this long, go ahead and click the link. I have it below, communitygrowthfoundation.org/education. Applications are open. Enrollment is open now until
Yeah.
June 15th. Yes, we're getting those applications in before apartmentalize, okay? So
Yes.
before you pack your bags and get to New Orleans, go ahead and click that link. If you need support with sharing this with your teams, reach out to me, to Stephanie Purier Helling, Suzanne Pratt, any of the team members. We will be happy to answer questions for you, to get on with your leadership about the value. Better yet, just show them this video. If they question the value of why this course, tell them Suzanne Pratt and Melissa D. White said, you need this
You
character
need
building,
this.
wow, leadership development. Okay.
Absolutely.
So, again, so honored. Thank you again to the leadership to Dave Snyder and your vision, to the Grand Canyon University team, Stephanie Purier Helling for leading the charge, and to all of our
Mhm.
task force members, we honor your sacrifice. Did y'all hear me say we've been doing this for 18 months?
Yes.
That is sacrifice of love and dedication and service. So, really quickly before we go, I want you to know what to do now that you've heard this. Number one, can you share this on your platforms? Tag 2 or 3 faith friends, as I call them, who you say, hey, let's do this course together. It may
Okay.
be fun, insightful, and as Suzanne said, transformational to go through this eight
Transformation.
weeks together. Okay. Here's some information to take with you about the course that I'll share. If you see here, I've just shared the details. 8 weeks, self paced. So, hey, knock it out this summer. Be a part of the inaugural pilot team to share feedback, insights, and show the success of this program. We have only 25 seats. Yes, 25. And they are going quickly. We have people who jumped right on the opportunity and enrolled, and they have done an incredible application to be a part. It won't take long. Just click the link and do that. This is a credentialed, a university credentialed certificate program that holds weight. Yes, it holds significant weight. Your tuition costs, it is the investment in your future, in your transformation, and building that integrity and character. And honestly, it is synonymous or equivalent and
Mhm.
really a very nice competitive rate compared to other programs that are out there, especially again for a university level program. Deadline to apply June 15th, okay? And the pilot class starts June 22nd. I am so honored to be a part of this program. There's incredible, when I say this is some of the best curriculum I've seen as a
Mhm.
professor, as an academic, I am proud. I am so proud to be a part of this and the rigor. Now, this is not a watered down program and it's not preachy.
Mhm.
It is exact, it is sure, it is applicable, and it will equip and prepare you as a leader, okay, to be effective and transformational in the workplace. So, lastly, materials that are shared. There's several incredible materials that are part of the program. John Maxwell Leadership, Stephanie Purier Helling is a dynamic coach, a part of that program, and incorporated high road leadership and multiple other materials with this program. You're going to get a full course of development and training that you can visit throughout your career growth and
Mhm.
development. Guys, thank you for being a part of our series. Stay locked in. We have more. Our next series will be this Friday with more of our task force members. Suzanne, I honor you and I thank you
Thank you.
for your time, your commitment, and your service. Guys, we'll see you on the next part of our faith inspired leadership and property management series. Until next time, keep the faith, and we'll see you next Friday. Bye for now.